Hey man, what grade did you get for your exam? Oh, I got an A+. What did you get? Oh, I only got a D-. Ha! You're so dumb, dude! How did you get such a low mark? Hey man, it was a really tough test. What are you even talking about? Bob got a B+, and he can't even tell the difference between a chair and a chicken. Oh yeah? Well, at least my face doesn't look like a farm animal. Well, at least I don't look like a low-budget Power Ranger. Oh yeah? Well, at least I don't look like a... Oh dear. I think Billy's off his meds again. I don't know if you know this, but camping sucks. And if you're one of those people who say you enjoy camping, then all I have to say to you is shut up! Because you're lying to yourself. Like, why would you purposely place yourself in a disgusting and uncomfortable environment where you could be attacked by bears at any moment? It just doesn't make sense. Every time I go camping, something horrible happens. There was this one time when a group of people from my school and I traveled to a place located pretty far away from the city. We traveled there by train and then were required to hike the rest of the way. At first, I was feeling pretty great and thought I'd be completely fine during the entire hike. Until 5 minutes later. That was when I started crying in pain. My legs were aching from being forced to climb all over the uneven terrain, and since I was a stingy rat and didn't buy proper hiking boots, blisters formed all over the bottom of my feet. When I saw a sign that said only 2 kilometers away from the campsite, I was so happy. Only 2 more kilometers? That's easy. We'd get there in no time. However, after walking for like 30 minutes, we passed another sign that said only 1.9 kilometers away from campsite. I hate this place so much. As soon as we got to the campsite, I tossed my hiking pack onto the ground and then immediately passed out on top of it. But after all of that effort just to travel to that one campsite, we were going to have to do even more traveling just to get to a different campsite. Like, why can't we just stay here? What's wrong with this campsite? But on the bright side, instead of doing an exhaustingly long hike like before, we were going to travel there by using kayaks. I'd never used a kayak before, so I was a bit worried. But since I'm such a clever boy, I managed to learn how to use it fast. However, even though I'm so great and talented, the person I was sharing the kayak with was completely useless. Since we had to use 2-person kayaks, I was forced to share one with another person. I wasn't against the idea at first, since they were a woman, but if I had known that she was going to be such a liability, I would have just swam there. While I was working my butt off trying to move the kayak with my massive muscles, she was doing absolutely nothing. She was just holding the paddle in her hand while staring at the surroundings. Are you freaking kidding me? I was so tempted to just push her off the kayak and then ditch her. But since I'm such a gentleman, I didn't. I was so relieved when we managed to arrive at our location. My entire body was in unimaginable pain. While I was packing away the tent that I set up, the girl who kayaked with me earlier said that she needed to study for an upcoming exam, so she asked if I could do most of the paddling. As soon as we get back to shore, I'm killing her. Like, are you serious? You barely did anything before, and now you're making me do even more work. All I have to say is that it was a very painful journey back. That girl was very lucky that we didn't run into any wild animals, because if I saw even a single bear coming at us, I would have tossed her right at it and then run away. But that wasn't the only camping trip where I had some horrible experiences. There was another camping trip that was filled with utter disaster. And that was my lovely school camp where my entire year was going to a lovely, faraway place. At first, the school trip was going quite smoothly. I was hanging out with a bunch of different friends, and we were doing some random fun activities together. However, as soon as it was time to head back to our dorms and get ready for bed, things started getting pretty bad. To begin with, we weren't provided any blankets. Usually, when you're provided with a bed, you expect to also receive a blanket. However, these beds didn't have any. When we received news about our upcoming school camp trip, we were provided with a list of stuff to bring. And on that list, it did not say that we would need to bring anything like a blanket or sleeping bag. So I assumed that we didn't need one. Unfortunately, I seemed to be the only one in my dorm who didn't bring a blanket or sleeping bag, meaning that I was forced to suffer alone. I struggle to sleep without a blanket, so I kept waking up every 15 minutes during the night. And it also didn't help that we were in the middle of winter, so it was absolutely freezing! Luckily, I managed to speak with one of the teachers about my situation, and was able to secure myself a free blanket for the next night. And as soon as I received that blanket, I slept so peacefully. Even though I had an awful night's rest during the first night, I still managed to have an overall decent experience. But that was mainly due to what happened on the last night. During our last night, the teachers organized a compulsory silent disco for all of the students to attend. And if you don't know what a silent disco is because you're an idiot, well, it's basically the same thing as a normal disco, except there's no actual music being played. Everyone basically wears separate pairs of headphones, which each play the same music at the same time. At first, everyone was against the idea, since it seemed really boring. However, once the silent disco actually got started, everyone started having a lot of fun. Everyone was dancing around and having a good time. Except me. Okay, well, in my defense, I was really tired and did not feel like doing anything. So during the entire time, I was just standing there and silently staring at my friends who were all wildly jumping around like they had just snorted a suspicious looking white powder. I was so tired and just wanted the party to finally end. Until something amazing happened. While I was just standing there looking miserable, a girl came up to me and then just randomly grabbed my hand, forcing me to dance with her. Oh my goodness. A woman was willingly holding hands with me. I felt amazing. But for some reason, I was being an idiot and acting super ungrateful. She was dancing around me, encouraging me to join her, but I was just way too tired and just continued to look like I was completely dead on the inside. I honestly feel really bad for her because it kind of looked like I was being a jerk. Not intentionally, of course, but it still looks pretty bad. I promise that if that same girl ever tries to dance with me again in the future, I will enthusiastically dance with her.